So let me just give me a moment. I'm just going to be streamlining this. Just give me a moment. Okay, awesome. So today is going to be your first session, how to be an impactful, impeccable speaker. And one of the things which I want you all to know is that whether you were a speaker in the past is not going to be a deciding factor whether you can be a speaker in the future. Today is going to be a day number one to say that I want to be this, I like it. Before I even go ahead and how to become an impeccable speaker, how many of you here love to be one? Give me a smile or heart in the chat window. If you're someone, when you look at people on the stage, when you look at people on the social media, like, wow, yaar, kya baat hai? How I wish I could be also one of them. How I wish I can also talk like them. How I wish I can have a body language like them. How I wish I can have flow like them. Matlab, taka tak, I can talk without any fear and just come naturally and automatically. Now, these 5 days, what I want you all to know is I don't know, some of you must be knowing it, some of you must not be knowing me. But what I want you all to know is I'm going to be going absolute vulnerable to share with you from where I got started, where am I today, and if I can do it, I want every single one of you know that you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. If I have to rewind my past, I've never, ever been a speaker ever in my life. The first time I stood on stage was when I was a 2-year-old girl. A decision, obviously, which I didn't make. Either my teacher or my mother made to put me onto the stage. After that, every single time I had to make a decision, I was like, nah, bhaiya, mere bas ka nahi hai. Give me a smile in the chat window if you are someone who also feels like that. No, this is too much. I just can't do this. And you know, it is not only just being on the stage, it is also about you being in the room and raising hands. Can I talk? May I talk? And say, no, let me just sit aside, let others talk. I'll be the listener, I'll be the spectator here. So what I want you all to know is I've been a spectator for the longest period of life, rather I would say for 33 years. For 33 years of my life, I was a spectator until the last few years. I thought, I really want to break free myself from my own identity. And that's what being an impeccable speaker is about me, is a definition for me. I personally feel it is not what you're doing or how you're being there. It's just being how you break free yourself from the habit of being your own self and playing that smaller game which we are playing for ourselves from a very long time. Now, fast forwarding from me, it started from the year when I was 33, going on from there every single time. There are so many times I come on stage, I go probably out in the market, there's nervousness in the stomach, in the heart, all of that show up. There's always going to be the fear. But the thing which we need to know is that how do we feel the fear and we say, come on, bring it on, and we still go ahead and take the action. Still take the action towards it. It is never going to be a time that you feel my script is the best script. Before that, let me just ask you, all on from there, every single time, there are so many times I come on stage, I go probably out in the market. Okay, let me just cross this. Mine only was playing. So what I want to, what a couple of the things which I want to ask you all, how many of you here in the room are someone who've been speaker before and you have a great relationship with the stage? Give me in the chat window if you are a speaker and you have a great relationship with speak with the stage. Okay, awesome, Sharon. Anyone else who really have a great relationship with the stage? Now, how many of you here have never been on one, but you want to be on one? Give me in the chat window if you have never been on one, but you truly want to be on one. Now, how many of you have a problem that you believe that you're queen or a king of the content? But you're very good at your content, you probably know your content, but the moment this camera comes in front of you, the moment that button gets clicked, you're like, now I cannot talk. Give me a smile in the chat window. If you are someone who says, Shruti, like this, I can talk. You make me sit in a room, I can talk for 2 hours. But the moment you bring me in front of that camera, I don't know what to do. That's the time I freeze. Okay, awesome. Love those smiles in the chat window. Now, how many of you here say that camera is also okay? Camera tak bhi baat chalti hai. But the moment you put the time on it, that 1.5 minute, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's like, oh my God, I don't know what to talk. Give me tea in the chat window. If you think time puts a lot of pressure that you don't know, should I put this in my content? Should I put that in content? Should it be like this or should it be like that? Now, if you actually see what I want you all to know, and some of you, how many of you say, Shruti, content creation is also a challenge? You may see in the chat window if you believe that content creation is also a challenge, wherein you really think that how to talk. Now, for the ones who are not being on the stage, just if you need to go and step up to create a video or probably be on the stage at your work and you feel, I don't know whether I should be talking this or I should be talking that. Now, what I want you all to know, so many of you here, awesome. Thank you so much for your brutal honesty. Now, what I want you all to know is there are multiple layers of the challenges which we are going to be going through when we are trying to become a speaker, whether on the speaker of the stage of life or on the real stage. Now, the first and the foremost thing which I want every single one of you to be very well aware of is that which is the area of challenge for me? Which is the biggest area of challenge for me? Is it content? Is it camera facing? Is it the time? Or is it all of it? Or is it maybe my face? I'm going to be very open here. Initially, there were times when I used to make a content or I used to make a video, I used to say, oh God, aaj to pimple aa gaya. Let me just not make it today. How many of you have pushed doing some of your work because you got the pimple? Give me P in the chat window. How many of you here in the room are not doing what you're supposed to do because you're waiting for the weight to get lost? You're really waiting for the weight, thoda weight patla patla ho jaye. Let me just look little my perfect cell, and that's the time. I think it's going to be time for me to go. Yeah, but sometimes a bad hair could also be a reason for me to not to kind of go in there and project my own self. Now, here's something which I want you to know. None of us are going to be becoming a speaker overnight. I want you to know this. This is a place wherein we all need to. This is a hard truth. Some of you might get butterflies in your stomach to know that, oh my God, really? Then what? What I truly want you to know, we're not going to be becoming a speaker. Like today, I say I want to be a speaker, and tomorrow I'm a speaker. We all need to work on it. Just the way we build muscle, just the way we create our expertise in every single area of our life. Similarly, we need to work on ourselves in building our muscle, either by getting comfortable with the camera or by creating the content or by putting ourselves into the timeline of what we have to build, to give our delivery. Now, for that to happen, the first and the foremost thing which we all need to do is to start. To start. Many of us here in the room are waiting to become perfect and then start. Not happening. When it comes to becoming a speaker, when it comes to going out there, dealing with all the challenges which are thrown at to us, you will only become good when you start doing it. If you're someone who says, let me get good and then I'll start, I want you to reverse that game. Let me start and I will get good on the way. For all my lovely people who have applied for the Super Speaker, take this as a challenge for yourself. Starting from today till the end of the Super Speaker, you're going to be going out on social media. Not because right now you want to see who you are and what. You are making peace with your own self. You are getting comfortable with your own self by putting ourselves out there. You are not doing it for the likes. You're not doing it for the followers. You're not doing it to judge whether my content is right or not. These are not your criteria of measurement. This is not the state to go at all. Your criteria of measurement is, am I consistently doing it or not? If you are with me on that, give me WY in the chat window. Am I consistently doing it not? Because just the way I need to go to the gym and build my muscle, I need to go out on social media. I need to go out on front of the camera to build my mind muscle, to get comfortable there. And anyone of in the room is going to be getting stopped saying people are not going to be liking you. Well, let me ask you a very honest question and be brutally honest in giving the answer. Do you like everyone? Do you like everyone? Then why are we going to be expecting everyone to like us? Even we also don't like everyone. The person who's going to be liking you is going to be coming towards you, and the person who's not going to be liking you is going to be going towards someone else, and which is absolutely okay. Which is absolutely okay, because there's so many out there to come towards you, and there's so many out there who's going to be going towards someone else as well. So on that note, the first thing which the second thing which I want you all to know is, I don't start when I get good. I start now and I get good on the way. I'm building my muscle. And I take up this challenge to going and talking for all the professionals or anyone who wants to do that speaker thing in their role of, just live. I want you to take this up as a challenge till tomorrow. that you're going to be stepping up your game and going and having that conversation, not expecting it to be the best conversation of your life, but your only aim is that you did make that conversation. That's the only challenge for you. It may not be the best, but your challenge to yourself is that I did step up, I made that conversation. Remember, every master was once a disaster. If we are someone who's expecting ourselves to be on chapter 20, सीधा directly आज ही तो कैसे होगा? You need to go to step number 1, then to the step number 2, then to the step number 3, and that's how slowly and steadily you're going to be reaching at step 10, step 15, step 20 as well. So on that note, the first and the foremost thing which I want you all to, absorb for yourself is, from today, become your biggest cheerleader. I am my biggest cheerleader. I am going to be appreciating myself for simple courage that I did it. Not for whether it was good or not, how many likes, followers, comment, hua ke nahi hua, kisne. The only reason I'm going to be appreciating my own self is that I am someone who did it. And the reason I'm saying this to all of you is for the simple fact that most of us are not going to be becoming a speaker because we do not want to stay authentic. We want to become what world wants us to become. And we're losing the game there. I get so many people getting ping. I really want to do this. I want to go out there, but I'm not able to create the video. Why? For the simple fact that your focus is on the world. Do you guys agree to that? Give me AA in the chat window, which is absolutely agree. If you agree that your focus is on the world, what will they think? What will they, whether they will like me or not? So in order for you to please them, you are losing your own self. So the first and the primary thing which we need to know for ourselves before we start on this journey of becoming an amazing speaker, we need to start loving ourselves and go towards our own authenticity. How many of you here in the room have seen my video or super speaker? Give me yes in the chat window if you are someone who's seen my video towards a super speaker. And how many of you agree that one of the reasons that that video probably have stand out in people's heart is because I was absolutely talking from the heart and not from the head. Give me a heart in the chat window if you do agree that that's the reason it was able to create the connect, because it was all coming from the heart. And the only way for us to bring this out from our heart is when we go closer to our own heart. That's the only way. So here's the challenge. The next one, which I'm going to be giving to you all is today, when you're going to be writing your speech, when you're going to be having a conversation wherein you want to have a conversation, tough one with someone else, instead of you immediately saying, but I don't know what to talk. I don't have the content, but who am I? But I have never done this, but I'm not a speaker, or I'm not a coach, or probably I've not studied this content at all. I want you to reverse the game. I want you to tell yourself that no opportunity comes my way until unless it is not for me. The reason it has come my way is because it is for me. Now, since the thought has come to me, now it's my next step to bring an action to create something out of it. So what you're going to be doing is, instead of having all this chatter and conversation in your head, that what should I do? What should I make? What do I even know about it? Is it even for me? But I'm not a speaker, but I've never done this. And then all those imposter syndrome, let me first become good. Today, what I want you to do is formula, powerful formula. And I want you to know all my scripts got created on this formula. You will sit with your own self with a pen and paper. You will sit with your own self with a pen and paper. And when you will sit with your own self with pen and paper, the problem with us is when we get thrown by a challenge, we're looking outside. Is challenge ka solution kya hai? Is challenge ka solution kya hai? The solution is inside. But we're so busy looking outside. What is the solution of this challenge? What is the solution of this challenge? That we lose our own authenticity and we don't know what the action we need to take. So here's something which I'm going to be telling you. What did I do when I had to make my first speech for the super speaker? I knew I wanted it. I always wanted to be there. This is a success gathering, is a place where in my life transformed, where my journey got started. So when super speaker happened, dhak dhak. Dhak dhak. How many of you have that dhak dhak right now for the ones who are applied for the Super Speaker Season 2? Right? So many of you. High five. I also had the same dhak dhak. If I have to apply for Season 2 again, I'll have the same dhak dhak again. Again, I'll tell you why. Because we are trying to aim for something really big. We are stretching ourselves into an unknown territory. Every single time we as human beings are going to be stretching ourselves into unknown territory, we are going to be getting dhak. We are going to be getting uncomfortable. But you know what's the beauty? What's the thing which I truly want to give to every single one of you, at least trying, because you're still not giving up. You're still saying, I'll feel this dhak and I'll still go ahead and do it. Because there's so many people who already made up their mind that this year I'm not doing, I'll do it next year. Do you guys know that? There are so many people out there who did the same thing last year. There's some of the same people going to be doing this year. There's so many people in our life. We're doing this again and again, where we keep on saying, I want to do this. But since I'm feeling the fear, maybe I'm not ready for it. Let me just do it later. You are never going to be ready for it. You cannot say, I'm going to be building muscle by sitting in my bed. You need to go to the gym. You need to get out there. How I wish we can lie down on the bed and say, हाँ मेरे आज तो muscle बहुत अच्छे बन रहे हैं, बहुत ही अच्छे बन रहे हैं. So what I'm going to be doing is, you need to get on the field and know it for a fact. Once you get on the field, you will get uncomfortable. There's none of us are top 10 speaker. None of us were chilling out and relaxing and dancing behind the stage. All of us was nervous. All of us in a stage, कि stage पे जाके क्या होगा, and there's a timer and there's a penalty on the timer as well. So coming in here, what I want you to know is whatever is your, dhak and what is stopping you, just know it for a fact, not only for in this area of super speaker, remember this for the rest of your life. You can never ever win until you begin. If that's a bulb on for you, give me BO in the chat window. You can never ever win until you begin. I want every single one of you this time to go little extra inch. How does an extra inch Seema looks like? How does an extra inch Sharon looks like? How does an extra inch Bhargavi looks like? Yeah, yesterday's Bhargavi may be someone who's not very confident on what has to be done, but today I'll do it. Because every master was once a disaster. So even if it is going to be a disaster, I'll just go it and do it. I know for none of you it's going to be a disaster, because I'm just saying the worst case. You're going to be doing it because you're going to be breaking yourself free from the layer of your own defeating personality. Now, here's what you're going to be doing. Is you're going to be sitting with a pen and paper. When I said what success means to me, I want you all to know I submitted my video on the last day of submission of Super Speaker Season 1. I kept on waiting, date बढ़ेगा, and I had pinged. I knew आज last date, और फिर भी मैं जाके Success Gyan की team को message करा, date extend हो गया क्या? I was waiting because my fears were like right here. And I'm sharing this with you all for you to know that we're all the same when it comes to, breaking free from a, something which we have not done before. And it's a bigger stage. So that's exactly, when I sat down, I wrote myself, what does success actually means to me? See, the usual thing, what we do is, I don't know what others says, and we kind of start going to the Google and we start Googling on it, what does success mean to me? And we start doing all of that stuff. I want you all to sit with pen paper and ask yourself, what does success means to you? What is success to me? Like one of my diamond member in Charismatic You, since she's someone who's struggling with her excess weight, she has written her success story as the success means to me is that now I have started to come out of the fact that I'm bigger than this label of being moti and fat. For her, that's the success. What was the success for me? If any one of you have to watch my video, what is success to me is, it was a simple case of that how I completely take myself off from my own head. Any daydreamers in the room? How many of you daydream? Give me DD in the chat window if you're someone who daydreams. High five, high five, high five. I'm a big daydreamer. If we have to have a competition, we'll see who's going to be winning it. I have daydreamed all my life. It was my best hobby. If someone asked me, what is your hobby? I was like, how to tell? I daydream. Because I don't have the courage to do it. So I used to look up to people, used to daydream. In my dreams, I used to live that life. All the daydreamers in the room would know. Something we like, we start daydreaming. We put ourselves out there because in reality, we're not able to do it. Now, what I want you to do is, you have daydreamed or you've thought of it enough times. Now start penning, what has that been for me? Whether you are someone who's been a professional, or someone who comes from a community wherein education is not very much supported, or you're someone who's moved from professional to entrepreneurship, or you're someone who's done anything which comes to you, just need to look at your life. your life is going to be having a pattern. Now, the only thing is to start locating those patterns and find out that success, that meaning of the success for your own self. Because when you find out those patterns, you will actually connect with self that this is what it is for me. And when you will connect what is that pattern for your own self, what is that deeper meaning with your own self, the way your hand will flow is going to be a very different direction. Rather than you Googling and trying to copy paste some of the lines and later realizing whether it's for me or not. A simple formula which I want to give to you all, which I actually was telling to my community members as well, is a simple formula you need to ask yourself is that when I'm listening to this speech of mine, am I inside it? Is this mine? Am I the one who's talking it, or am I someone who's just copied it? Because if you have someone who's just copied it and made it as a perfect one, it will not last for very long. It may take you to the little step, but it's not going to be making you last very long. So the first action item which I want to give to all of you is to go deeper inside your own self and see, who am I? What has been my story? And what did I do for what's the meaning of success which has been created for my own self? Like for me personally, if I say what was it for me, I always felt success is somewhere out there. It is for like some big people. Anyone out here in the room also feels the same? Give me a smile in the chat window. मतलब मेरे लिए नहीं है, लोगों के लिए, बड़े बड़े leaders, someone who's running big companies out there, making crores and all of that. Or it was all the influencers. I felt success is all about them. So I always felt success is beyond me. It cannot be something which is in my. So for me, success was something which is a very big word, and my world does not belongs to that world. And that's exactly how I started my video on what success to me, that it is beyond the world. And then slowly and steadily, how I was able to change my life, was able to do certain things in my life to be able to overcome all those challenges of the inauthenticity which I was living inside my own self. The more we are inauthentic to our own self, the more we are going to be trying to inauthentic to ourselves, the harder the journey will be. Every one of you here in the room are going to be starting this journey of peeling off a layer of your own ego. You need to let it go and allow it to drop off, to come out. Because people say vulnerability is weakness, vulnerability is super duper strength. It is going to be the one which is going to be, making you as the most, people love when you kind of say it from your heart and saying, oh my God, this really touches my heart. How many of you actually know this? That you have listened to people and said, this really touches my heart. Even though when they're sharing the vulnerability, it's a very beautiful thing about vulnerability. When someone else shows vulnerability, we'll say, "Bah, kya courage hai." But when we have to show about our own self, we'll say, "This is a weakness. I should not be showing it to you, showing it to anyone." So today, I want you all to reverse this game for yourself. That how you can be your, you can be your own cheerleader and start taking a step, even if it is a flawed step. I always say this to my community as well. Not taking a decision, not taking a step is also a decision, is also a step not taken. So even if it is a flawed step, do it 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time. Practice it with your own self and then see, how do I look like? I'm going to be, as we move ahead for the next 4 sessions, I'm also going to be talking about how the vicinity has to be, how your environment has to be, how you can work on content creation. Today is the day for me only to help you to go closer to your own self. You need to allow your voice to come out. I want every single one of you to write in the chat window, I allow my voice out. I allow my voice out. I want every single one of you to allow your voice out. I have a heart, I have a brain, and it has a voice. The environment, the exposure, the influencers, everyone I've seen, I've kind of thought that my voice has to be like them, because of which it is not coming out. Today, I allow my voice out, whether it's on the stage of life or on the stage of, super speaker or any other stage. I allow my voice out. And I want every single one of you to have this affirmation for all the days when you're being as a part of, of the super speaker. The second thing which I want you all to know is that when you look at someone and you really get inspired by them, you will also start getting elements of jealousy. Are yaar, ye mere se better hai. Do you guys all agree? Human beings are yaar, matlab, सच्ची बोलो, हाँ, agree. We start feeling, अरे इसका मेरे से better है, इसका मेरे से ये है. Now, the second thing which I want you all to be internalizing for yourself is that the strength of others will not make you feel weak about your own self. You will not look up to others and say that I am lesser. You will look up to others and you will say, wow, I like this, this, this. Now I'm going to be internalizing it inside me. Everything which comes to a speaker is a learnable skill. Know it for a fact. It's a learnable skill. So you don't have to be jealous. If you are someone who likes someone, you look at them, appreciate them and say, these are things I'm going to be internalizing for my own self. I want you all to know, before the finale, for 2 hours, I watched Priyanka Chopra. सब लोग अपनी स्पीच को प्रैक्टिस करेंगे, मैं बैठ के प्रियंका चोपड़ा को देखूंगी. Why? You will know it. For the people who like her, I used to follow her for the kind of confidence she shares on the stage. So me, instead of, sitting and doing my session and, by rectifying my speech and working on it, what I was doing, I was looking at her, because I started going to the people who inspire me to see what are the things which can be internalized. So any single time you look at someone, don't allow their greatness to enlarge your weakness. With me? Do not allow anyone's greatness to enlarge your weakness. When you look at someone's greatness, you say, wow, what do I like about her? This is what I like about her. This is what I like about him. Start making notes. What do I like about them? Tuck, 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 tuck. Now you say, if this is something which I like about them, how do I need to practice to internalize this? Because body language, tonality can be recreated. Are you guys learning here? If you guys learning, give me L in the chat window. If you guys are learning a lot, give me L in the chat window, which I'll assume learning a lot. So these are very small things, but most of the times what we'll be doing to ourselves is going to be looking at, some of you are going to be seeing some of the videos and you would have applied for it and you'll say, "Arey yaar, let me just not do it. Look at them, they're so good, and what will I'm going to be doing?" Do not give up any time on this journey of, taking yourself down, because sometimes I personally feel when we take someone up, we also take ourselves own down. And remove yourself, take yourself away from the perfectionism, because that's a very, very dark valley, and do not allow your growth to fall into that valley. How many of you here in the room are actually know this, that your growth is falling into the dark valley of perfectionism? Give me yes in the chat window if you know that your growth has actually fallen into that valley of perfectionism. So you need to really take yourself out and know it for a fact that I'll aim for progress. Do you know, because you are the one who's going to be standing between your success and you. You're going to be the one who's going to be standing between your growth and you are the only one who's going to be standing between you and your creativity as well. So today, how many of you here are ready to, instead of going out, are ready to go inside? Give me in the chat window and give me a longer me. I want every single one of you today to sit with a pen and paper and start going inside. When you will go inside, you will grow outside. It's a simple science. When I wrote my first India script, and I shared, we all have our chuddy buddies, right? College ke, school ke. When I shared with my friends, they said, where is you in this? I said, acha. They said, where is you in this? And I literally was sitting, I slept 2:30 a.m. I woke up again at night and I was thinking, what is India to me? And I took out my mobile, I opened the notes. If I have a screenshot, I would love to share that screenshot with every single one of you. And in night at 2:30 a.m. in my Samsung notes, I wrote, India is Sachin for me. India is Shah Rukh Khan for me. India is Amitabh Bachchan for me. And for the ones who have heard my India speech, all these people have come there. I trimmed Amitabh Bachchan for the simple reason because my script was going a little longer, but that was my way to go deeper inside my own heart to find the meaning. What is it for me? Yes, awesome, good. So the first challenge for all of you is to take all the things which you have learned. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be clicking a picture of this right now. I want all of you to turn on your video. Come on, quickly turn on your video. And what I want you all to do is I'm going to be posting this in Facebook and Instagram. Are you guys all on Instagram? Are you guys all on Instagram? Yes, yes, yes. Now do you have to be, if any one of you is going to be trying to be a speaker, you need to go all out there. So what I'm going to be asking you all is to create your bulb on moments. What are the takeaways you're going to be creating for yourself? And what I also want you to know, the more you share, the more you care. the more you spread out, the faster it comes back to you. You know, me and Varun were so full of anxiety when we had to go for the speech. Both of us were exercising outside the room. If any one of you have looked at us as Super 10, you cannot ever imagine and believe that we were competing against each other. We were the biggest cheerleaders for each other behind the stage. On the stage, what we had to do, we had to do. So what I want you all to do is not just about you being a speaker, it is also going to be about who you are as a person. So from today, start doing things wherein you grow your heart and you become loving. You are someone who's a giver, giver, giver. And your first way of giving to the outside world is going to be whatever notes you have made. Make them as a digital notes. Today, when I post, you're going to be sharing your bulb bonds there. If you are ready to do that, give me all ready in the chat. And if you're ready to do that, ready to share your notes, ready to share. Even if you have one takeaway, you're going to be going in and sharing out that with the world. Awesome. Super. So quickly, we're going to be taking